So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. Guys, I've got some news to bring to you. Floyd Mayweather will be returning to the ring for an exhibition fight in Dubai on May 14th, and Anderson Silva will also be on that card. So it says here Floyd Mayweather will return to the ring kind of for a May 14th exhibition bout against club fighter Don Moore, with the bout taking place on a hotel helipad in Dubai. TMZ reported this news this evening. Anderson Silva and Badu Jack will also be part of the event. Mayweather, who turned 45 February, was last in the ring for an exhibition fight against Logan Paul in 2021. The event was very well received, critically, or however you put it in this space, and the bout with Moore is far less mainstream event and far less, we mean this is not anyone's radar, and quite possible nobody will much care at all. So yeah, it looks like Floyd is returning to the ring. Floyd will be fighting again in an exhibition bout. I don't know what you guys make of it. I don't know. Like, I think the Logan Paul fight was big, and it received a lot of criticism because of the fact that Logan Paul was also a huge star in his own right. So it made the event big, and I think they did over 1 million pay-per-view buys. You know, Leonard Ellaby recently said Canelo Plant did 870,000 pay-per-view buys, but Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul did much more. Well, Floyd Mayweather was fighting a guy who's also a superstar, you know, a guy that's got millions of followers, you know, a guy that's got probably 3 times more followers than Canelo has on Instagram. So I'm not surprised that they did over 1 million pay-per-view buys when you look at both Mayweather's you know, name and Logan Paul's name. It doesn't surprise me in the slightest that fight did huge numbers. What were you expecting? It was always going to do big numbers. To be honest, Mayweather, you know, he's making a lot of money. You know, even now that he's out of boxing, you know, he's doing these exhibition type of fights, making shed loads of money. And look, you can't blame him if they keep paying him the money. You can't really blame him for continuing to fight on, because he's making easy money. He's making easy work out of this, you know. So you can't really blame Mayweather, to be honest with you. You can't blame him whatsoever. I think he's just milking it. And can you blame him? Not really. Not really. You know, I think it is what it is. I think it's good money for him as a good side income, and he'll keep doing it until people keep paying him. So yeah, I haven't got a problem with it, to be honest with you. I think Mayweather is Mayweather. Mayweather's you know, he's done what he's needed to do in the sport. I know some people don't like it. Some people think it's not good. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's not boxing. It's exhibition. You know, I haven't got a problem with him doing exhibition bouts. That's his own, what he wants to do, his own thing. This probably isn't going to get that much clout like the Logan Paul did, because nobody knows who Don Moore is. As it even says, Floyd Mayweather will hold another less hyped exhibition fight. It's less hyped because the other guy that he's fighting, nobody really knows who he is. So yeah, look, I haven't got a problem with Mayweather fighting on. I actually think it gives us something to talk about. And Mayweather's Mayweather. You know, Mayweather's a superstar, so Mayweather can do what he wants, really. And I feel like he'll always get I think he'll always get attention because it's Floyd Mayweather. So yeah, I think if he sees an opportunity to make money, why not? Why not do it? You know, I think it's perfect. I think it's a perfect fight for Mayweather if he's getting paid a lot of money to fight a guy that's a club fighter, essentially. You can't blame him. You can't blame him from doing what he's doing. So yeah, effectively, I ain't got a problem with what Mayweather's doing, to be honest with you. Eddie Hearn says that he predicts Golovkin will stop Ryota Murata in their fight that they've got this weekend. Let's see what Eddie has to say about this fight. He goes, 2 massive banana skins. I look at it and everyone is looking forward towards September. Canelo against GGG. These fights are both losable, and it all starts with Gennady Golovkin this weekend. Look, before I go on, I think I said to you guys that I think more so than the 2 fighters, I think, well, obviously Golovkin wants it, and more so than Canelo, I think that the broadcaster DAZN want the Golovkin fight, because I think they know what kind of subscription that will bring to their platform. So I can understand why they want that fight badly. And hence why Eddie Hearn is probably hoping both these guys can win their upcoming fights, because they know the kind of business that, you know, Golovkin Canelo will do. Who looks great? He always lives the life. Yeah, he's a couple of years older than ideally be in this situation, but I don't think that's going to affect him. When you look at the tough fights GGG has had, the 2 Canelo fights, the Devianchenko fight, show me the other brutal fights that he's had in his career. Not really. So I don't think that he's a faded fighter. Father Time will take that from you, but I don't expect to see Gennady shot or tired or shot Golovkin. I expect to see a dangerous Golovkin. I just feel when a fighter has been so inactive, when the first bell goes sometimes, everyone is looking at this, wow, Murata is looking good here. Gennady started slow. I do expect Gennady to cut the ring off and get a hold of Murata and ultimately stop him. I want to go to Cinco de Mayo with Gennady Golovkin there, knowing that if Canelo Alvarez gets through Dimitri Bivol, maybe we can get the ring, get in the ring after, and we can start building towards the mega fight. He then goes on to say, but as I said, the Dimitri Bivol fight, but the assignment for Gennady Golovkin may be tougher opponent. I'm talking about getting in the plane, flying to Japan, getting into the stadium full of Murata's people, the inactivity. It's really interesting couple of fights, and I'm really looking forward to Gennady Golovkin this weekend. So there you go. Eddie Hearn gives his thoughts. He feels that Gennady Golovkin will knock out Ryota Murata. What do I feel? Look, I think it's a good fight. I think Murata will test what GG has left, and I think a lot's in Murata's favor. Murata's fighting in his hometown. He's fighting in front of his people, so that will be a motivation for him to win this fight. So yeah, look, I think I'm interested. I'm interested to see what Golovkin's got left, and also I think Golovkin will have to do well in order to sell the trilogy. And look, I think we will talk about that in more depth in a separate video. But yeah, I do think that Golovkin's going to have to go in there and, in my opinion, put on a spectacular performance against Murata. And if he does that, he becomes a unified champion. And it gives Golovkin options, because if Golovkin was to lose to Canelo in a competitive fight, in a fight where he doesn't get totally blown away and he's competitive and he loses a decision or something, Golovkin can go back down to middleweight and look to clean up at middleweight. So I think Golovkin's in a great place if he beats Murata. If he loses to Murata, then that's it for me. That's his career over. I don't think there's anywhere for Golovkin to go. I think if he loses to Murata, that's it for me. I think his career's done. But if he wins, I think he puts himself in a great position, because if Golovkin was to lose to Canelo on a split decision or something, or a close fight, he can then always go back down to middleweight and look to clean up and fight the guys with the titles, like Jamal Charlo. And if Andrade, vacates his belt, then there's a chance that, someone else becomes a champion, and, maybe Golovkin fights a Janibek or someone like that to become undisputed. Who knows if he beats... Because I still think Golovkin is capable of becoming an undisputed middleweight champion. I still think he's capable of beating those guys. So yeah, I think they would be... I think they would be great fights. They would be great fights. If he was... Like I said, it all depends on... After the Canelo fight, does he have the desire? Does he want to continue? Because let's not forget, he'll be older. Like, when he fights Canelo, he'll be 40. Then, if we're talking about him going back down to middleweight, when's he going to be able to fight those two guys? He'll probably be 42 by the time those fights come out. So, yeah, like 41, 42. So, again, it just depends on how much desire Gennady has, because he's fought Canelo 3 times. He would have been paid a shed load of money. He's going to get paid a shed load of money again. Apparently, he's getting paid like $14 million to fight Murata, something like that. So, he's getting a lot of money for this fight against Murata. So I think Golovkin, in terms of financially, with the fight he's going to have with Murata, and then potentially the fight he has with Canelo, he's making a lot of money. Then he's fought Canelo twice, and yeah, this guy's made a lot of money. Golovkin has made a lot of money. So, is he going to have the hunger and desire, if he was to lose to Canelo, to continue and become undisputed at middleweight? It's always been his dream. But again, he gets an opportunity to become undisputed. If Canelo wins against Bivol and Golovkin wins, Golovkin will get the opportunity to become undisputed at 168, which it's always been a dream of his to become undisputed champion. Well, he'll get that opportunity against Canelo Alvarez. So, and if he doesn't beat Canelo, he'll still be unified champion. So then he'll be 2 belts away at middleweight, to become undisputed there. So I still think Golovkin will be in a great position, regardless. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to this fight. I think we'll see how good or how much Golovkin's got left. I think that's what this fight will show us. And hopefully he has got enough left. Hopefully he's not finished. Hopefully he's still the same guy that we once knew. And, you know, that makes it very interesting for me, because I have a soft spot for Golovkin. He's been a guy that's entertained us over the years. I do think he could have taken more risks in his career. I do think he should have taken more chances, which I don't think he did, especially moving up to 168. I think he could have done that a long time ago. Unfortunately, he didn't make that move, which I think hurt his career, hurt his legacy, because he didn't really, if you look at his resume, he's got 2 Canelo fights, which if he wins on, he'll have 3, you know, if Canelo wins as well. But again, if you look at his resume, apart from Canelo, Jacobs, you know, you'd say he never really fought anybody. You know, if you're saying that a welterweight in Kell Brook is probably the 3rd best opponent you fought, that is not a good look. Especially when Kell Brook's an underachieving welterweight in his own right. You know? So, yeah, I personally think that I personally think that Golovkin underachieved in terms of like his resume and where he should be a much greater than what he is, and he was greater than what he is. But unfortunately, the politics and him being older didn't allow him. And him himself, look, he could have fought Andre Ward. He could have gone up and fought Kovalev. He could have gone up and fought, like, you know, he should have gone up, you know, and he just wanted to stay at middleweight when he knew the competition was scarce at middleweight. Golovkin knew the competition wasn't there at middleweight. But yeah, he still decided to stay there, and really, yeah, he was dominating, but dominating against who, really? You know, generally, when you get guys that are dominated for such a long period of time or have this many title defenses, it's generally down to the fact that there isn't that great competition, like, you know, in their division. You know, unless they're an exceptional fighter, which Golovkin is an exceptional fighter. But for me, I think he could have done more by moving up. I just think that he could have done a lot more. That's just my opinion, and I think he probably underachieved a little bit. And probably could have gone on to become a 2-3 weight world champion as well, but he just stayed at middleweight and looked to dominate. Well, look, if he beats Canelo the 3rd time, you know, he becomes undisputed at middleweight, and then it'll feel like his career will be justified. Do you know what I mean? That the ability and talent, if you become undisputed at another weight class, you know, he's been unified champion. He might then say, you know what, I beat Canelo, I'm not going to fight him again, I'm going to go back down, and then look to become undisputed at middleweight as well. You know, he might get the hunger. We just don't know. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this weekend. I do predict that Golovkin will stop Murata. I'll do a full breakdown of what I think happens in this fight tomorrow when the weigh-in. I'll give my prediction. But yeah, leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think of what Eddie Hearn says, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.